Hi there, students. To drive out and to drive off. Okay, so we drove them off. We drove them out. Okay. So it means, both of these mean to make somebody leave somewhere. But there's a subtle difference between the two. Let's look at the grammar for a second more. So to drive someone out of or out from somewhere. To drive someone off from somewhere. Okay, to drive someone off from somewhere. Okay, so what about the difference? So if you drive somebody off, you make them go away. But I get the feeling that you make them go away temporarily. Yeah, they can come back, or they can try and come back. If you drive somebody or something out, you stop it from continuing in that area. So you could drive somebody out of their house. They could drive somebody out of the neighborhood, make them leave the neighborhood. So I was thinking with flies. If you're having a picnic and you've got a problem with flies on your sandwiches, you can drive the flies off. You can make them go, but you're not going to be able to drive them out. If you drive out the flies, you get rid of all the flies in the neighborhood. There are no flies left in the area, and then they can't come back. Okay, so to drive out is more permanent. Yeah, if you drive someone out, you stop them from living there. You stop them from continuing in this place. Whereas if you drive them off, you are driving them away. You're forcing them to go. So there was a cat on my flower beds, and I drove the cat off. Yeah, there were some cats living in my garden shed, and I drove them out and locked the shed. So notice this drive out is more permanent. Yeah. Notice as well, to drive off, this word off can mean away. He walked off. So I got in the car and drove off, drove away. But notice as well, a drive-off is where somebody goes to a filling station, to a petrol station, puts fuel in their car, and then drives off without paying for it. That would be a drive-off as well. Okay, so to drive off, to drive out, to cause or force someone to leave somewhere. Let's see. There were invaders in the country, and the invaders attacked the village, and the villagers drove the invaders off. They made them go back, but they're going to need a more concerted effort to drive them out of the country. Yeah, so the invaders attacked, and the villagers drove them off. And then the army arrived, and the army with local villagers drove the invaders out of the country. Yeah, they drove them out permanently. Yeah, so in an area of a city, maybe low-income families are driven out by increasing housing prices. Yeah, they're driven out, and out implies that they're not coming back. Yeah, they're forced to leave, and they're not coming back. Yeah, so if you drive something off, you force them to go away and stop attacking or threatening you. Yeah, so to drive off an attack, I threw stones at the wolves to drive them off. But it's going to be impossible to drive the wolves out of the forest without some longer term thing. So to drive out means to make something disappear, to stop it operating in an area. Yeah, to get rid of it, to send it somewhere else so that it never comes back. Yeah, so the floods drove them out of their house. Yeah, and it was very difficult for them to come back. Okay, so drive off, make go away, but it can come back. Drive out, to get rid of completely and to resolve this situation permanently. So drive them out, drive them off. I think to drive off has more the idea of to drive away, whereas drive out, to drive away permanently so they go to a different place. Notice as well, to drive is an irregular verb. Drive, drove, driven. So be careful when you use it. Formality, to drive off, to drive out. I think I'm going to give both of them 4.5 in formality. Use them informally in a semi-formal conversation, semi-formal writing, but not something very formal. And then as to origin, well, off or out, yeah, off the land and out of the area. And the word drive comes from Old English drifan, to force, to move, from Proto-West Germanic dribana, to drive, to push, from Proto-Indo-European dreb, to drive or to push. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Drive out, drive off.